Converting commercial to residential, the beginner's guide you need, pros, cons, and my experience. Let's get into it. Now guys, converting commercial to residential isn't just about slapping a bit of paint on the walls and just hoping and praying for the best. No, there is a mix of creativity, strategy, and also a mix of, yep, you guessed it, legislation and regulations. It's all a maze of regulations that somehow we've got to navigate through. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Sabrina, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you. So for the past 3 years, I have literally been diving headfirst into investment properties, smaller investment properties within the East Midlands region of the UK. And I've literally stumbled onto converting smaller commercial properties into residential and creating flats from them. And as you will have known, if you've been following me for a while, it has been a roller coaster ride, highs and lows, a lot of facepalm moments. And today I'm sharing a bit of my knowledge that I've learned from literally converting these smaller commercial properties into residential properties. So in today's video, I'm going to cover reasons why you would want to go into commercial to residential conversions, some of the project management tools that I have sort of used and I've worked and I've actually developed to help me on my projects, the challenges to look out for, and some practical handy tips that I had to learn the hard way, so watch until the end. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Why bother doing commercial to residential conversions in the first place? So basically the profit margins. Being in business, it's all about having to adapt to the current climate and the times, and now more than ever, we have so many charges. I'm talking stamp duty is the main one on residential properties when you're purchasing them in the first place. We've got all of these charges that we have to contend with. So actually purchasing commercial properties that we can potentially convert to residential straight away, we are helping out with our profit margins. And we're often getting these commercial properties for less than their counterparts, residential properties, because there's a reduced risk involved with paying fees and things like that. Like I said earlier, stamp duty being one of them, which is going up in April. I've done a whole video on this, so please check that out. That's on the channel as well. Converting the right commercial property, and I'm talking things like Class E commercial properties, so offices, things like that. If you find the right property, lend itself well when you're looking at the floor plan to converting them into flats or apartments. So you can divide them up into 1, 2, whatever, 3-bedroom apartments, and these tend to be occupied by maybe somebody who's single or maybe a couple that's looking to save costs. So again, you're looking at the market and what that dictates. So you're working with market demand. So if people are trying to reduce costs or save and cut back and things like that, something like an apartment is going to be great for them, because they tend to be more energy efficient than a full house. They're not paying as much on heating bills and things like that. And that is great for us as investors. So that is dictating the market towards maybe flats that people want to move into if they're wanting to save money on their energy bills, for example. And this might feed back into some of the proposed changes that we're going to have to be doing in terms of EPC ratings. Maybe, for example, if you are getting in a commercial property that's quite energy efficient, then if you're separating them up and splitting them up into flats, that might look a bit more favorably when we're talking EPC rating. But that's a whole nother thing. That's I've done a video on this already. And also cost effectiveness. So a commercial property might work out to be less per square metre than a residential property. So again, they're happy days. So that then leads me on to my next point, and that's my step-by-step sort of high-level process to doing these conversions. Step 1 is looking at your research and planning. So really, from the get-go, you need to understand all the planning requirements, where the property is, can you actually convert it, investigate the local planning laws, and also the building regulations in the area or where the property is, just just so you know whether the conversion is actually going to be one, viable and it's cost effective for you and that you can actually do it. So for example, is it a Class E property? Is it a office or whatever? If so, then maybe you might even be able to do that under permitted development rights. It's all about having that understanding of the planning laws in your local area where this commercial property is that you're potentially looking to convert. Assess demand as well. Make sure you know the market where you're potentially looking to buy this potential conversion. Is there demand for the type of property that you're going to be converting it to, and what kind of rental yields are they commanding as well? And also you need to evaluate the property. Make sure you conduct a thorough feasibility check or feasibility report on the property that you're wanting to do, so you know you've assessed all of your risks that are involved in converting the property. Can you actually get that many units or whatever out of it if you want to get more units out of it to make it financially viable? Can you actually do it? What are the costs with the renovation? Things like that. How are you going to actually plan out the project? And I have a link in the description box below to the project plan in Excel that I normally use when I'm assessing, looking and actually running a potential project. So that's available for you to download. The links in the description box below. So you're assessing the current condition of the property and what it will need to bring it up to a certain level for you to rent out, whatever renovation that you have planned out, that you can actually get it to that level. And also bear in mind all of the EPC changes that are going to be taking place as well. So that in a nutshell, just make sure that you do your research on the planning, also your research on the market demand in the area, and make sure that you actually do your research into how much time, cost and the quality needed for you to actually do the conversion in the first place to make sure that it is a viable decision or plan for you to do. By the way, guys, I am literally planning my whole journey here on YouTube on this channel, and I've literally got a playlist on here where I've actually done this commercial to residential conversion already, so check that out. If you're liking the content, please subscribe. Thanks. The next stage as well is making sure that you do a financial feasibility. So just make sure you're calculating the cost of the purchase, the cost of the renovation, and all of your legal fees or the other professional fees that you'll need to include as well. So for example, other professional fees could be a structural engineer when it actually gets to site. Have you got the right architectural designer in place? All the solicitors, all of those fees, everything. Have you calculated the stamp duty right? Everything like that laid out from the beginning. And you'll need this project plan. For example, you'll need to know how long the program is going to be, how long it's going to take you to do the actual works, the cost involved in the works, and the actual specification of the works and what you're actually proposing to do. Because 9 times out of 10, the lender, whether it be a bridge to let, whether you're going straight onto a buy to let, or whether it's a bridge loan, they will want to know exactly what your program is, exactly what the specification of the works that you're going to be doing is going to be to ensure that you're going to actually get that valuation, you're going to add value to the property, and also how long it's going to take you, your program, everything like that will want to be taken into consideration, and they'll want to have a copy of this as part of the application process. And an estimate of the end value post conversion to ensure profitability. And step 4, the design and actual renovation. So you need to make sure that you're hiring the correct architects, the structural engineer, the correct consultants that are experienced in this. Again, I do architectural consultancy as well, so my details in the description box below. And the right architectural designer will plan out your layout to maximize the amount of units that you're going to be able to get into the space, so that again you've got maximized profits and that you're complying fully with building control. And it goes without saying, you'll want to be doing this by adding modern, convenient facilities for your potential tenants or buyers if you're doing a flip. So the next step, legal and regulatory compliance. Again, ensuring that you're complying with all legal regulations, building control, fire safety, all types of safety, CDM, everything like that, accessibility and energy efficiency standards. And also having regular inspections throughout the project to ensure that you're going to be getting all of these certificates, things that you need at the end of the project. Marketing and sales and rental. So yeah, just create yourself a lovely tenant and or buyers. Obviously, if you are looking to keep the properties and rent them out and just be a landlord like what I normally do, I have a lot of landlord templates and things like that that you can actually have a look, and I've got videos on that as well that you can have a look over. But build those relationships with local estate agents just so you've got them there and they can help and market your property for you. I've got a couple of estate agents that I work with, one in particular that I work with for all of my properties, and I put them all through them. And just make sure that they are highlighting any really good features of your property. For example, if it's super energy efficient, which is going to be a really good selling point, make sure that that's really highlighted. All the local amenities, it's close to a tram, it's close to this, it's close to that, you know, all of that, make sure that that's all highlighted. And I always do a lovely little tenant pack for my tenants as a landlord as well, and that kind of boosts and builds on the government how to rent guide as well that you have to put out with all of your tenancies. I also, as I said, have a lovely tenant pack that greets all of my tenants for every single new tenancy that I do. If you're interested in getting that template, guys, put in, I don't know, tenancy template, comment that in the description, in the comments below, and I might look about sorting out a link or something to that if you're interested in having that template. But yeah, that was a really quick step-by-step high-level guide to that. I've got more videos on the channel as well that you can check out that go into more detail into any of those points. So the next point that I'm going to be discussing are the challenges, so the not so great bits. So I mean, converting these commercial properties is not sunshine and rainbows, guys. It's not for the faint-hearted. After all, you can have structural issues, you can have other things that happen. You might want to look at the energy efficiency if it's not quite there. Obviously, I said before, and we were discussing this earlier on in the video, but if you do have those properties where it's not as energy efficient, that is a thing that you want to be wanting to look at as well. After all, these properties were not designed and were never intended to be homes. That was not their purpose. We are repurposing them. So we have to make or add what I call the cozy factor. We need to make them feel cozy. So it's really important that you do all of the steps that I spoke about before, all the points that I spoke about before, making sure that you do your research to make sure you find the right property that can be converted, because even if you can doesn't mean you should. You need to make sure that the properties are fit for purpose. By the time you've spent all this money and you've gone into it all, you need to make sure that it is going to be fit for purpose and it's going to be cozy and feel like a home to whoever is going to be in there next. So, right, my handy practical tips then. Right, so start small to begin with. This is what I'm doing. So I'm making sure that any mistakes that I'm making, I am making them on a smaller scale. So hopefully by the time I do sort and I build up and I get bigger and bigger projects, I will have honed in those skills and know roughly what to expect, because obviously whenever you're dealing with a new building, you don't know what you've uncovered until you uncover it. But making those mistakes early, and when, more importantly, smaller mistakes, they are going to be a smaller cost versus when you start to get bigger, when if you do make a mistake there, it's going to be twice as costly. Build a really good team. Have a really good team around you. A team of architects or architectural designers, a team of structural engineers, a team of builders, a team of electricians, joiners, roofers, the estate agents, and most importantly as well, mortgage advisors. Again, my mortgage advisor, her details are in the description box below. Maybe a financial advisor as well. Again, I use Unbiased. And by the way, you can also sign up to Unbiased. They are like a matchmaking app for your finances, and you can get your first month's consultation for free if you use the link that's in the description box below. But yeah, really build up a really good solid team of consultants and contractors and professional people and have them around you, because especially if you are remote investing, you will really need that and have that and want that trust moving forwards. Stay updated, guys. This is a really good tip. Things are changing all the time. For example, like I've said already, the EPCs, that's another thing that the government are floating around. So really make sure sure that you do your research, you are looking into things and you're learning almost every single day, whether it's permitted development rights, whether it's planning, some other thing that you need to look at. Just make sure, or market trends, make sure that you are really keeping yourself updated. And network as well. This is something that I neglected last year and I'm starting to neglect this year. What I really want to moving forward is to go to a lot more networking events, network with like-minded individuals, push my LinkedIn as well. So all my links and everything are in the description box below. If you are on LinkedIn, reach out and just connect with me if you want as well. Just build those connections, guys, and yeah, just make sure you're going to all of these networking events, because you never know, you might be the puzzle piece to somebody else's, you know, missing piece. So yeah, just networking. You never know what opportunities you can uncover. Right, so if you're thinking of converting commercial to residential, hopefully this video has given you some food for thought. Watch this video next where I've done just that on my last project. Thanks, bye.